What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you all. Hope everybody's doing well coming off the new moon in Virgo. Appreciate you all. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. Let's look at Tuesday. It's Mars Day. Mars is finally coming off that square to Neptune. It's a little bit of like getting our head above water in many ways, especially in Virgo season. It's like we want all these analytics, all these facts, all this information to kind of make sense so that we can, purify and perfect. And it's been a little confusing, but also kind of like free flowing and dreamy and in some ways debilitating, but at the same time, there is this separation that's happening, and I think we're starting to get our head above water, especially the last day before Mars comes into fall position of Cancer. So, a lot to consider about the way we act right now, and the mental clarity to act on hasn't necessarily been amazing as of recent times here in the astrology. So it's a lot of it's like intuitive action, feeling called, feeling sort of divinely inspired. Those are the things worth acting on. Those are the things worth making quick changes on and moving towards, and just kind of like trusting and having faith that it's going to work out. And it might not, right? We've gone over this a few times. Like there's not a lot of certainty in life right now. It's just that sort of intuitive will to keep going. And that's the beauty of a lot of things right now. Mars and Pluto in their quincunx, real tight, 29-29. So definitely an interesting day with our desire nature, our deep emotional desires, our will and our actions based on some desire natures. I think there's a lot of curiosity that's kind of like springing up about our missions, our destinies, how we're going to get to the top, how we're going to figure things out, and why we're here, and a lot of purpose-driven stuff. So I do feel like there is this sort of weird pull towards purpose, and it can be kind of like, gosh, I wish this made more sense. I wish this was more linearly understood, and I just wouldn't expect that, right? It's more of an intuitive, an inner just something calling to do and to change and to be flexible and curious for what the results can be. And I think it's just like it's a deeper intuitive knowing that can be profound, and it's trusting that. And I think that's one of the harder things to do is to kind of trust the unknown, not for everybody but for some. So there's this like unknown feeling, desire. Got to trust it. Might not see results right away, might see results right away, but it's all data, right? This is definitely a data lunation in Virgo. Getting analytics locked up. We're going to make adjustments. We're going to stop doing the things that don't work. We're going to keep doing more of the things that work. This moon in Virgo is having us get things going. It's new moon time. Ball's rolling. We're getting separation there. The moon is going to, of course, oppose Saturn today in Pisces. So that definitely like is kind of sobering in a way, and kind of like brings us back to reality. I think it's getting us in the right gear, and I think it's helping us know that the integrity lies within our soul, and it lies within a lot of unseen forces right now, and we got to stay on the path, and sometimes it's not always the path of least resistance, or in some ways the path of least resistance isn't always the easiest. So it's a weird sort of, okay, this isn't necessarily easy, but gosh, it feels right. And I think that that's something special. Whether it's for a lesson learned, whether it's for soul growth, whether it's for emotional growth, emotional determination, resilience, or whether it's for actually accomplishing something that you're supposed to accomplish, all are valid. So, I don't know. Definitely a very intuitive day to trust that. The moon's also going to square Jupiter exactly, which is amplifying our emotion, which is definitely getting us, maybe, you know, it's in these two Mercury ruled signs, right? So it's like, gosh, I think we want to sort of be a little gregarious for certain adventure, knowledge, for wisdom, for our journey, how we're purifying and cleaning things up in our personal lives. But it's not so much about this big thing. It's more about all these little things. And I think that that's the ticket, is to like really hone in on a little thing that you can fix or that you can change or that you can do to sort of make the day-to-day routine more in alignment with what your soul purpose feels like it might be, with what is going to make you feel healthier, stronger, more pure, more beautiful, different things of that nature. It can have people being a little dogmatic in their beliefs. I feel like people could be really, I don't know, just like, this is the way today. If you want to be healthy, you have to do this. Like, well, okay. There's still a lot of uniqueness in the astrology, so we don't want to like also think that one way is the only way or it's the highway. There's definitely a lot of different ways to make it up the path here. So it's definitely finding the way that fits you the best. Find the way that fits your lifestyle, your body, your health, your reality. Trusting that inner pull. And then being, willing to be mutable about it too, and to not be so stagnant in some feeling or belief, but to maybe be open to, well, what else is out there in my immediate reality, in my environment, with the people in my life. It's Venus South Node today. Very intoxicating for being around people. Could feel very beautiful, very balanced, very aligned, almost like too aligned, too beautiful. And I think that's where we want to be critical today, is like paying attention to like that gut feeling of like, is this actually aligned or is this an illusion? Is this actually really positive? Is this a good reflection? Is this not a good reflection? So all these data points are very important when it comes to people in our lives, relationships, romance, business, all the above, really. So there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and I think our soul knows the right way, but it can be very confusing. So there is confusion, but there's also a mental determination, an emotional determination. And I think, when you kind of slow down and pay attention, it's pretty easy to delineate and to identify with the North Node in Aries and Venus opposite that North Node and Mars in quite the interesting position ruling that North Node with the square to Neptune and being just a day away from fall position in Cancer, where we really do have to act on our emotions. We really do have to kind of define ourselves based on our intuition and our feelings, and it's not as impulsive, and we're gonna kind of, there's more risk reward that's going on with Mars in Cancer. It's like our desire nature has to kind of work through the like root chakra and the like, is this secure? Is this safe? Is this gonna be okay for family? Is this going to be okay for my personal life? And then it kind of is able to find that feeling and act on it. But that's why Mars doesn't really love Cancer, because it's not impulsive in a fiery, masculine sort of way. It's much more like a mother protecting their children, like not necessarily just going to go do it, but in the moment when it comes, there's something there's a switch that flips, and we can definitely feel that switch flip to where it's like, oh, I'm officially a warrior and I'm protecting this. But until we get almost pushed to the brink of not feeling safe or secure, we can kind of be like, oh, is it? Well, I don't know. So a little interesting, a little confusing, but also there's plenty of things to pay attention to. There's plenty of things to shift around in our lives. There's plenty of things to think about, and to think like, is this really balanced, or is this illusionary? Is this really harmonious, or am I making up a story? Am I trying to fit some, desire? And I think that's where we have to be like really Virgo about it and be real honest and kind of just like, yeah, that's just a story I'm making up because of something I want. It's not actually showing up and reflecting back to me what I really want to identify with. So Interesting Tuesday. Not bad by any means, but there's definitely a little bit of this kind of sobering up energy, kind of coming out of this Mars Neptune and this really nice new moon and this Venus South node, and kind of just seeing things for what they are. And maybe even the moon square Jupiter is kind of like blowing up sort of the more linear truths too. And that can be a little emotionally overwhelming because it's a lot to process and analyze. And we might just want to not and just be like, no, it's beautiful. I'm just going to bypass it. But don't bypass it. Be serious about things right now. And not serious to the point where we're just stuck up and, can't have a good time. But like serious enough to look ourselves, directly in the eye in the mirror and be blunt and honest with ourselves, not to a place of critical judgment of, shame, but to a place of empowerment and embetterment for kind of putting a cherry on top of ourselves in many ways and perfecting our form little by little so that we can really identify what's beautiful, balanced, what's a good reflection, what's harmonious, what we want to do, where we want to put our emotions, our effort, our desires. So it's a lot to contemplate, a lot to think about, but just probably going to have to kind of get back on the grind a little bit more. Especially coming off a holiday weekend, right? 3-day weekend for a lot of people. So kind of getting back on the grind, getting back on the horse, and persistence. I feel like persistence is a big one right now. Persistence in the midst of such mutability. So there's like so many little things changing on a day-to-day basis, but still staying on schedule, if you will, for the important things and the real soul desires. Let's see what the card is for today. The Lovers in reverse. How funny. Venus in the South Node in Libra. It just feels to me like it's not about this big quest for external validation or external love. This is a big purification of self-love. And I think really remembering to look back at yourself with the admiration and the love and that sort of unconditional feeling that we might get for other people, but do we unconditionally love ourselves? And do we unconditionally love ourselves enough to be honest, but to improve, to make adjustments, to be better? And I think, it's just like not putting so much weight on the environment, but just using the environment and the people as a tool. And not like a tool like we're using people, but as a tool like a mirror, this reflection. And to see if it really is in the proper alignment and vibration with ourselves. And it's going to be a little bit different. We're all carrying a slightly unique and different frequency, and we're finding things that match that. And I think it's pretty obvious what's not matching that. And again, it's intoxicating almost to even stay in that or to try and fix things. And I think especially in Virgo season 2, there is this sort of desire to heal, others. But remember, it's important to heal yourself and to do that work internally and, really see the beauty that can sprout up within you when you do. And to see that also when you put that work in on yourself, it does come back in the form of others and it reflects back really beautifully. So the reflection of ourself in others and the love that we're shown by others is a really good barometer of the love that you show yourself. So remember that today. And I think that it's a good card to get for today with Venus in the South Node. Not exactly the way I like to look at the Lover's card because it's such a beautiful love card, but reversed, it's a little bit more about self-love. And more of an unconditional self-love to me. I love you all very much. I hope you have a great Tuesday, and I'll see you all for Wednesday's forecast mañana. Much love. Peace.